There's always been this unspoken rule on YouTube that, if you abuse the copyright system of YouTube, you're effectively persona non grata. Like, everyone will jump down your throat. Like, what was the name of the two pair of YouTubers that tried to copyright, like, react channels, like reaction channel, because their whole YouTube channel, I can't remember the name. I think they were just the React Brothers. I think that was the name, but they bring kids on to react to things that happen, and they got popular based off it. But then a bunch of other YouTubers kind of did the same thing because they're like, well, because the thing they doing was getting popular, well, I'm gonna do the same thing. And like just the idea of react channels, they're trying to copyright, and they elected them striking down other, like, attempting to strike down other channels. And now, and everyone universally jumped on them. Like, there's entire channels that celebrate the death of this channel and all the subscribers they're losing, and it's kind of fucked if you think about it. And this is always like, one, my personal opinion, and I'm not a legal expert, is if you release anything like to the public, rather it's for the sake of consuming, right? On an online platform, a public platform, you relinquish a piece of your ownership of that to the internet. If you didn't want to do that, well, then you would make your own website, release it there, then like demand people pay for that. Like what certain other news sites do. Above releasing on YouTube, and that'll just be that. But no, you put it on YouTube. You have people that will say react to it or show like the footage. And again, when you do that, it's just this open understanding that you release a piece of that ownership, and now and that's just sort of that. You can't do the you're stealing argument, because you understand like the content you create is just going to end up online. Now, it's one thing if you're monetizing it and there's a market, like other people are monetizing it as a market replacement. Like, this is why H3H3 is going after many channels, because those channels have actively stated that, hey, if you want to see his stuff on my channel so you don't support him, here you go. And they effectively handed H3H3 the legal win in that. But I don't think in Charlie's case that's what was happening. And I've watched his video. I originally wasn't going to do this. I watched his video and I watched Asmongold's video, and Asmongold really doesn't touch on what I'm about to say and why this happened, because many like big channels, like big outlets online, go through like third party legal channels, and these third party legal channels scour the internet on these creators' behalf. And if they see like a content infringement or a copyright infringement of any type, they will bring it to their lawyers, and then to the individual set themselves that own it. Like, this kind of happens with like copyright of music after a certain period. Like, a lot of like music and albums change hands of like certain firms. So maybe what wouldn't have got you a copyright at one point might get you copyright in the future simply because of hands being changed and statuses being changed. I think this is kind of what's happening. Well, it's not music in particular, but clips. Like what he described is there are two individuals, and it was over, the hurricane that was. One of them was over the hurricane that was hitting his area. And this is kind of what I believe is happening. There's third party copyright and third party infringement firms that immediately is slapping him. And one of the individuals has completely rescinded. They're like, we ain't a part of this. We're not going to go after him. This is why you get the situation where they're suing him. And they don't even, he doesn't even know who Penguin Z0 is, because these firms, they're kind of operating off broad strokes. So they see something that may look like it, and then they slap them, and they get their lawyers and legal teams on the case. And one of the individuals is like, well, I mean, if you want to use and I kind of understand the idea, because if that's how you make your living, it sucks when, certain media outlets also just take your content and they're monetizing it. And now in the case of AI channels and shit like that popping up doing the same thing, React channels popping up doing the same thing, you're kind of in this defensive position, and you kind of just hire these firms online to sort of do the work for you. I don't know what the other one is. I kind of just briefly glimpsed the video, but I feel like this is what's happening now. The React channels have always been a tough contingent on YouTube, simply because you will have creators just effectively straight rip videos from YouTube from other creators and add no commentary, just put it on their channel. And we've seen this happen, and YouTube has a lot of problems, and they're trying to attack bot and AI channels. Now, when they every time YouTube tries to fix a problem, they'll create 5, 6, 7 other problems down the road. Right? A lot of people are saying, oh, well, my shit's been being fucked with. But in Penguin's specific, MoistCr1TiKaL specific situation, I believe it's just, online, they monitor online. The firm may very well exist. The legal firm may very well exist and flagged his content, and now they're asking for effectively discovery. They're asking for cases, and there are also some odd, accusations, like he somehow cracked the code of their content and is uploading it to other of his sites. And I don't believe he himself did this, but people will clip and upload things on. Again, if you have a community as big as MoistCr1TiKaL, this is just something that will happen. I mean, it's a force of nature. So again, it's one of those things that when you put your content out there, you kind of have to come to the concession that it will end up other places if you're popular enough. Again, it's one thing if the other channels are monetizing it, but I think in Charles' case, he was doing it just for flat information. I feel like when he gets this to the court, I feel like they're going to err on his side, because it's clearly he was just looking for information, right? Clearly, he's one of those that sort of goes off the behest of his chat, and they're like, "Oh, hey, look at this." And he's like, "Okay," he types it in. You know, he's in that just chatting, which is why people watch him. You know, above his gaming. So I feel like again, this is a Pandora's box, and Asmongold even reacted to his video, and someone made a good point. It's like, so can they also come after you, Asmongold, because you also showed the shit that Charles showed? And again, this is just something we don't like, a Pandora's box we just don't want to open, right? Like, are we really going to go to the final conclusion of this? Because I don't think that would lead us into a good place, right? I think there's just be too much, too much of an interconnected fuckery to happen to where you can effectively go after anybody. Like, I've done react in the past of videos. I mean, my shit ain't monetized, but it's something I've done, and Asmongold's done the same thing. Like, many popular YouTubers have done it. Like, I don't really try to do react channels all that anymore. I mean, I'd rather just, unless it's something that I find interesting or a point that I find interesting being made. But usually I'm just fine with just seeing, like, what this is a fascinating fucking picture they have of him. Right? Just imagine this staring over you at night while you sleep, whispering moist thoughts into your ear. Here's the original video. You can watch it. Is this as part of the campaign against content theft and social media, it's come to my attention that, hold on, I'm going on. Come to my attention that a popular streamer named Charles MoistCr1TiKaL was included in the latest wave of stolen content from our Hurricane stream last year. I don't know Charlie or even that this happened. It sounds like he rebroadcast 30 seconds of our live stream for the purpose of letting people know what was happening. I'm fine with this instance of rebroadcasting by Charles Penguin, and I will remove myself from any content lawsuit against Charlie. Next time, just ask permission and I can clear it. Yeah, again, this is one of those people who's just like, I don't know who the fuck this is. Again, he probably hired, like, I think he's under some sort of a firm, or maybe he's part of the business, and we'd have to push back against content theft in general in the social media space, most of which happen from traditional media, since it makes it impossible to cover our science budget and expenses with unoriginal content flags that result from stolen content that is rebroadcasted. Yeah, and again, this is also a thing, right? You'll have people that steal your shit, and then they will abuse the system and copyright your shit, and because it's a loophole that is allowed on YouTube, and even if you get it cleared, like within the first couple days of it being re-uploaded, right, that you're losing money. And again, this guy probably has a firm working on his behalf. I mean, let's look at his channel, right? 25K following. He extreme science weather. He and his shit's educational. Like, it makes sense in his situation. Content rebroadcast. I would just have to stay in my basement and stream radar breakdowns if we let all media steal and rebroadcast our content for profit. I am a lifelong break-even person financially, or maybe a little lost, so this is not from a position of greed. Ever since I goes back into storm chasing science, dominators. That word, dominators, and disaster relief. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Yeah, I mean, There's probably someone, again, he does this for a living and he enjoys what he does. And yeah, he can operate at a loss. But then again, you have, random channels taking your shit, striking you down because they want to make money off it, using the legal loophole, and this is someone being affected by it. And that's something I 100% agree that you should go against, right? If your shit gets popular, people steal it, and then they copyright strike you and your shit. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, and again, that's my whole take. It's just you have these firms, and he cleared himself out of this, but I think there's another group trying to sue him as two people for his content. And yeah, it's something. It has always been just this massive contingent, and on YouTube at least, they kind of hit you with the, well, you kind of got to do it yourself. Like, it's not, unless it's illegal, it's not feasible for YouTube to start suing people on your behalf. I remember when, like, well, Metallica tried to do that to people who was burning their albums on CDs. Like, they're acting like it's theft, and they're trying to convict, like, 12-year-olds in their mom's basement that's just a little bit computer savvy to have it done. And YouTube's like, even the fucking Supreme Court's like, you calm the fuck down, guys. We're not throwing 12, 13, 14-year-olds in fucking the slammer. If you have a problem with it, you take it with them. We're not doing it on your fucking behalf. But anyway, again, that's my take. It sucks being in this because even if you come out on top, you are forced, it is a headache. You are forced to put in time, effort, in some cases money, outside of, doing your job, doing what he does for a living, which is streaming and putting a show on YouTube. And now you have to deal with a bunch of chuckleheads that is suing you for like a couple seconds of video and a couple of still images. But we'll see how this goes. I think he will come out on top on this, but I think this is just a scary precedent that's trying to be set yet again. But that's all I gotta say about this. Peace.